You threatened a registered nurse.
I didn't threaten anybody.
And me with dogs when we're trying to see public records.
I said my dogs can be uppity with people that are coming in my property.
Then when you're conducting private judging...
Have they bit you? Have they attacked you?
When you're conducting private judging and noticing this as your address...
You are on my home. Leave my home.
Please call the police then. Because you have this noticed as a public courthouse.
Thank you.
This is what you noticed, sir. Not me. You put it in the public domain.
Ms. Bassey, I would suggest privileged communication.
Oh, certainly. Your private judging records are not privileged, sir.
Hey guys, welcome back to San Joaquin Valley Transparency. Remember the time I traveled to Sacramento, California and found Susan Bassey at the courthouse? We exchanged numbers and I began highlighting her work and you guys fell in love with her work.
So did you just get the judge's permission to do this? No.
We are activists and this is what we do. We record in public, we fight for the First Amendment.
My name is Susan Bassey.
Susan Bassey is a publisher and government watchdog. Shortly after she gave whistleblower testimony to the Santa Clara County Board of Supervisors, she was subject to police excessive force and arrest. Now more than 40,000 of you follow her work, and we've learned so much because of her videos. Many of us have no idea that these magistrates are merely nothing more than private judges, working under absolute immunity. This means they can make whatever ruling and never face any consequences for bad decisions. What we are uncovering these days is shocking to say the least. To give you an idea of where we're at today, when we began the channel, it was simply to bring down the numbers of police justified killings in my area. Many of you in the comment section have guided me to learn and understand more about law and how it works. One comment that I seem to get a lot of is, stop going after these low-level cops. They're bottom feeders. Go after the politicians and judges, the political parasites. Well folks, 5 years later and over 300,000 supporters, not followers or fans, those are for artists and performers, but actually over 500,000 supporters combined with both channels, we're finally giving you what you're asking for. We're now opening new doors, finding ways to uncover corruption, and if money corrupts, then a lot of money corrupts a lot of people. Law should not be manipulated by those who know how to abuse it to take advantage of those who either cannot afford legal advice or those who simply don't understand how law works. You know the saying, people with money get away with murder? Well, that's not all they get away with, folks, especially in Ohio. When a billionaire uses his money to influence judges' decisions, that's a bad thing. When billionaires buy out any and all attorneys in one area so they can't help you, that's a bad thing. Law is supposed to be fair. When a billionaire's wife divorces him, she should expect the courts to be fair at the hearings. But when judges, or should I say magistrates, abuse their power and not grant a fair hearing to both parties, this is a bad thing, folks. The people will absolutely not tolerate this. Mainstream media will not show you corruption as it's happening, so the people have no choice but to reach out to each other via social media. There are plenty strong-minded folks in the First Amendment auditing community that come together to put bad public officials in check. Check out these clips from the Lackluster channel highlighting a dirty judge.
This is District Judge Alexi G. Crott. She is a terrible human being. Some would even say she's a cunt. This is 72-year-old Burham Chowdhury. On January 11th of 2022, Burham appeared before Crott after the city cited him for overgrown brush in the alley behind their property.
Mr. Chowdhury, take yourself off mute and say your full name.
Yes, my name Burhan Uddin Chaudhary.
You have a ticket from August 2nd, 2021 for failing to keep the fence, walkway, sidewalk, or alley free of weeds, trees, or other nuisance vegetation. First offense civil infraction, you can plead responsible with an explanation, or not responsible.
Crott asks Burham if he is responsible with explanation, or not responsible. He explains through extremely labored breathing that he is very old and that his cancer diagnosis prevents him from being physically able to tidy up the alley. His son, who appears with him, usually tends to the area, but had been out of the country and was unable to assist his father.
Explain what time. I am a cancer patient, very old ma'am, and I am a cancer patient. I was then very weak. I cannot look after this thing.
After Judge Crott hears his explanation, she rids herself of all human decency and empathy and berates the man.
You should be ashamed of yourself. If I could give you jail time on this, I would. The fine is $100, pay it by February 1st.
The only thing that was shameful about this interaction is Judge Crott. There is no way that her behavior is in line with the recommended judicial conduct that she swore to uphold. Judge Crott lacks even the most basic common decency required to hold any position of power and should be removed from her position immediately. Her current term ends in 2027, and that cannot come fast enough. Unfortunately, this is a symptom of a much bigger issue. First of all, the state should have no say over the appearance of the property you own. On top of that, our society has become so detached from each other that no one knows their neighbors anymore. Social media and political echo chambers mixed with a fast food, get this, get that quick lifestyle has torn us so far apart that the surrounding community punished a dying man instead of pitching in to help care for him. It's disgusting. This whole story is disgusting. The judge is perhaps the most disgusting person of 2022 thus far and should retire immediately with no option to work for the public ever again. Yuck. A petition for her removal is linked below. At the time I created this video, it has 9,500 signatures.
Now keep in mind that the petition regarding this judge has reached its goal.
In 2021, exclusive stories that I reported on this channel got the ball rolling to terminate several officers in law enforcement agencies across the United States. Some of the encounters ended up with lawsuits, with financial compensation, but most importantly, policy change and termination of bad government employees. At the moment, we don't know what's going to happen with this case. It's too early to tell, but I wanted to point out that at the time I created that video, the petition to remove Judge Alexei Crott was at 9,500 signatures. As of now, it currently has over 100,000. Perhaps less impactful, but also an amazing feat, is your response to the incident on the City of Hamtramck's Facebook page. In the short time that the video has been up, the city has received hundreds of comments, redressing their grievance with Judge Alexei Crott. And perhaps one of the biggest things that helps the channel are the viewers like you who share our content to the city officials.
This is how the people come together to make things right, folks. Now meet Bridget Davis. She is divorcing a billionaire. All she's asking for is a fair hearing. Her attorneys did not do their jobs correctly, so she's taking her story to social media.
Divorce is a tough thing to go through for anyone, and I can empathize. My divorce certainly is. My name is Bridget Davis, and I'm one of the founders of Surviving Searcy, a safe place for people who feel victimized by the legal divorce process or who have been victim of judicial misconduct to get help, resources, guidance, and a sense of community around them. Whether it's financial and legal issues you're dealing with, or just the mental, emotional struggle that comes with the powerlessness, we're here for you. You are not alone. I'm divorcing the owner of Check and Go, second largest payday company in the country, and the court corruption that has gone on for the last 3 years. I have been not awarded any temporary support. This is all done purposefully so that any and all attorneys that I hire to represent me are paid by my husband. And so they have used all the procedures that I am unaware of until it's too late against me so that I stay in this financially starved and abusive situation. He is desperate to keep, this is a lifetime marriage, 25 years. The company was started when we first got married, actually like 6 months before. But so per the law, I would be entitled to an equitable share of the value of his shares in the company. That is a considerable amount of money. He desperately does not want the stock in the company considered at all in any way in the decision or to have the value of it submitted at all publicly, because all divorce proceedings are open to the public, technically. So they found a way around that. For example, This decision reads, the magistrate heard this matter in accordance with a general order of reference, which is a matter of record, in the court under authority of Rule 53 of Ohio Rules of Civil Procedure. That, I believe, I'm going to guess, means that our hearing wasn't actually transcribed or recorded. It was by me, and I have started to post these audio tapes on TikTok for you all to hear, because what goes on in these hearings is astounding, really. But they don't record them because they don't want any of this information accessible to any of you. I, of course, do.
I'll drop all her links in the description and pinned comment along with her petition. Make sure you guys sign that as well so that justice can be served and a fair hearing can be heard. And now let's meet Judge Amy Searcy.
Judge Amy Searcy is the only candidate for judge with judicial experience, and Judge Amy Searcy is endorsed by the Fraternal Order of Police Lodge Number 69 and Prosecutor Joe Dieters. Families matter. Keep Judge Amy Searcy on November 4th.
She's liked so much that on her YouTube channel, in 7 years, I'm her 3rd subscriber. Too bad YouTube took away the thumbs down button, because we'd really be able to see how much she's truly liked versus disliked. And because of Searcy's actions towards Bridget has been unfair, she will now be getting the spotlight that she deserves, along with the other magistrates who follow in her footsteps. Go follow and support the Instagram page called Surviving Searcy to have a better understanding of what's going on over there. Follow her TikTok as well. And just like I talked Susan Bassey into becoming a powerhouse on YouTube, I'm also trying to convince Bridget to get her channel going as well.
State and federal law is very clear about court proceedings. The public has a right to attend hearings and to see public records, even when those hearings are being conducted in a private residence or in a big fancy office building.
Hi everyone. If you follow me, you know that for the past couple weeks I have posted almost non-stop about this incredibly corrupt divorce proceeding I am embroiled in with my soon-to-be ex-husband, who happens to be the 2nd largest payday lender in the country. Our company is called Check and Go. And by trying to expose this court, I have been on the receiving end of an incredible amount of support from all of you, and great advice and a tremendous amount of helpful information. I've learned so much in the last 2 weeks. But one of the suggestions from a follower was to go to change.org and start a petition, which I have, and it's titled Surviving Searcy. That's my personal nod to the first judge who put me in this untenable situation by making several unlawful decisions, and that the court has subsequently chosen to uphold, not revisit, even though the judge was ultimately recused herself a year and a half into the process after I wrote an affidavit of disqualification to the Ohio Supreme Court. Anyway, ultimately what is going on is they are desperate to keep me from getting my hands on and examining and evaluating or having the company financials evaluated. That's it in a nutshell. Although that is thwarting my right to due process. This is a lifetime marriage. That company was built over the 25 years that we were married. When we married, we had no money. I fully intend, whatever my equitable share of the stock is, I intend to fund a payday payback. I do not wish to keep the money, but I desperately want this court exposed. Desperately, because it's so blatant and so obvious and such an abuse of power, and the lengths that they've gone to try to thwart my rights can happen in America. I know that it does. I'm seeing it firsthand. I don't believe I'm the only one. I believe that due to the players and the company and how desperate they are to keep any and all financial information out of public consumption, I believe, it's obvious. So please go sign my petition so that we all can be heard and force them to follow the law.